I know there were several folks here that had meetings right up to 10 o'clock, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No worries.
And there's Nosa.
Nosa and Sandip. I've never met them.
Sandip is new, not with us, just a new person that wanted to join our webinar today.
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
Welcome, Nosa. Welcome, Sandip.
We'll get started here in a few. And there's Michael.
Hello.
Hello.
Be sure and put your questions, guys, in the chat because I will be answering them at the end. So as we go along, if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, because I'm excited about this presentation, be sure and put it in the chat. Just excited about getting back out there.
Are you still finding that people are a little hesitant to join in?
Out in um live, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I think I'm the one. I'll go to a function and I'm the only one wearing a mask. Maybe it's just me, but I'm like the only one wearing a mask. So I'm the hesitant, but I'm getting out there. I mean,
Actually, getting out there is half the problem right there.
I know. I'm like, nobody's wearing a mask but me. I was like, I don't care. I'm wearing
Saw Roger join.
Okay. Exciting. Got a nice little crowd. They can ask questions and we can cater to them.
Oh, yeah.
So where is Brett today?
He's one of the ones with a meeting.
Oh, okay. So he
Yeah, I
may
don't
be
know
in.
that he'll be joining us, but yeah, he had a meeting that he had to take. And I think there's Britt right there.
Who?
Britt Kroviak. He's one of our advisors, our senior advisors. He and Roger are senior advisors. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I just want to be aware of everyone's time and commitments. Thank you for joining us today. I am Paula McCain. I'm a recovery business advisor for the North Central Texas Small Business Development Center. I don't know if you actually realize today is Airplane Crop Duster Day, Clean Your Floors Day, and National Watermelon Day. I myself will be celebrating the National Watermelon Day.
Me too.
The SBDC is a leading provider of assistance for small businesses. We are grant funded, and because of that, we can offer our services and resources such as today's webinar to you at no cost. Welcome to networking online and offline beyond the pandemic, something everybody has been waiting for since March 2020. Please put your questions in the chat room, and Marsha will get to those after the presentation. And I want to introduce Marsha Hudson. She is a social media branding specialist. She's been working with the University of Houston SBDC since 2015, teaching social media and digital marketing. She's also a professor of English at Wharton County Junior College in Sugar Land, received a specialist degree from Walden University, attended Sam Houston State University and University of Houston. She's a professional photographer with her husband, specializing in branding, headshots, lifestyle, and real estate photography. She's a very busy woman. So thank you for joining us today, Marsha. Take it away.
Well, I am really excited to be here, and I have so much great information to share with you guys today. So I hope you are ready for a lot of information, ready for some good learning, and you have your pen and your paper, and you are ready to go. So let's start off with talking about networking, and I'm going to share with you at some point in time in this training how I went to a networking function this past week and how that went. So 5 keys to networking online and offline beyond the pandemic. So networking is not just collecting contacts. We don't just go to a networking function and collect business cards. And though sometimes we used to kind of do that and exchange business cards, but I looked up what networking was. I did a little research on it because we're getting back out there. And this is what I found, and I really like this. Networking is about planting relationships. And so it's not just about collecting business cards, it's about planting relationships. And I found that online, that we can really build up our relationships online if we want to build our businesses. So, sorry, speak up louder. Okay, so can you hear me? All right. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am Marshalyn Hudson, and I am a social media and brand strategist. I really like teaching social media. I am a social media specialist for U of H. Like Paula said, I'm a professor at the college and professional photographer, which is really what my main business was. I started off after college being a photographer, but moved into social media when I realized we needed to learn that. And so I have created a journal, Training Your Mind for Success. We're actually in the Training Your Mind for Success series right now. And I do have the free course that I'm actually giving away free for a limited time. Anyway, I'm really excited about helping entrepreneurs build and brand and grow their business. So enough about me. So what is networking? That is the action or process of interaction. And I'm going to stress that quite a bit because even for me, when I used to go networking before the pandemic, it was just about, what do you do? Well, what do you do? And doing business cards. But it's not that. It's the process of interaction with others and exchanging information to develop, not just to get business cards to try to get business, but to develop social connections. So what is it not? Okay, what networking is not? It is not hard selling right away. Okay, it is not overly promoting your services and products, and it is not pushing sales on people who don't even know you yet. So think about that. When you go to a networking function and you are among business owners, um, they don't know you yet. And so people rarely just buy from us with a hard sale and they don't know us. They have to get to know us. We have to build relationships with these people before asking them for the sale. So,
Marcia, may I interrupt real quick? We're still having some trouble hearing you.
okay, I have this. Okay, let me see. I've turned up the microphone. What about now?
That's somewhat better.
Better. What
Much
about
better.
now?
Much better. Thank you.
This one is much better,
Yes.
or this one? This one is much better.
Yes.
That's much better. You can hear?
Yes. I can hear.
Okay. All right. I have two mics on now. Let me go back. So let me just go back a little to tell you networking is not hard selling. It's not over promoting your services, and it's not pushing your sales to people who don't know you yet. So what do we do when we network? Well, we offer value first and sales last, always. And I'm going to tell you what to do after going to a networking function later on in the training. But we always offer value first and sales last. We don't just start off with trying to get people to buy our product. So the world is opening back up. And so the question is, are you ready for it? What if you walked away today with one new perspective on networking? And I put that in this training because I wanted to walk away with a new perspective on networking because we're getting ready to start back going out there. What if you got one idea from the training today that will have you networking like a pro? And what if you decided to take action and follow up like a guide instead of a salesperson? And I've learned that in the research that I've been doing because we're getting back out there. If you become a guide at a networking function or someone that people can look to for answers instead of a salesperson, you're going to see your networking take a whole new direction. So be sure and stay to the end for Q&A. All right, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about the 5 keys to networking offline and online. Key number 1 is network on Facebook and LinkedIn, okay? Key number 2 is networking using multimedia. Key number 3, network planning ahead. Key number 4, Network without sounding salesy. And key number 5, the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. So grab some paper, grab a pen, get ready to take notes, turn those distractions off. If you're like me, you love to use your phone because you're getting ready to get a lot of great information. So key number 1, okay, networking on social media. All right. So you can join a Facebook and an Instagram group. And I talk about how to network online. And a great way to network online is to join 1 or 2 groups. Okay. You don't want to join too many groups because if you join a group, you want to be active in it. For instance, I'm in a few groups because that's my business, but I'm in a constant contact group, which is an email group. And I posted in the group on yesterday, I just posted some tips on how to grow your email list. And I got so many people from the group saying great tips, where do I get more? And I just sent them to my website. So being in a group would really help you to network. People get to know you, people get to see you, people get to learn from you. And I say you can join 1 or 2 Facebook groups or 1 or 2 Instagram groups, but you want to be active in the groups. You want to be a part of the community. And people say, well, how many days should I be active? Well, you can just post in the group 1 day a week. I like to do 1 or 2 days a week. I posted in the group yesterday. I posted in the group today, and I just continued the conversation because people were asking me for more tips. And so I continued the conversation about emails and lead magnets and how to grow your email. So the community goes on, people get to know you. And then a few people have even gone to my website and downloaded some of my free resources. And now I have their email and they're really a part of the community. So networking on social media will help you to become visible. It will help people to become aware of you and your business. And it will also grow your reach. So it's something to consider joining. And you don't have to join both Facebook and Instagram. It's just whatever your preference is. So how do you choose a group? Okay, so the way that I choose groups, I basically would go to Facebook or LinkedIn and go to the business page and do a search. So all you have to do is go to Facebook, in the search bar, put in the name of a group or any word, industry. Let's say you're a designer, so you might put in the word design groups. Or let's say you're a real estate professional, you may put real estate in the search bar. Let's say you're an entrepreneur, you may put entrepreneur in the search bar. Well, when you go to the search bar, all of these different groups will come up and you can decide. You go to the group, and most of the time you have to ask to join, and they will let you join, and then you become a part of the community. You can also look for like-minded groups where you have people who are in your same industries. For me, I would type in social media, or I would type in women in entrepreneurs and things like that. So you can also find groups where you can get tips and information from other people in your industry. So you might look also for groups where you might find your ideal client. So you may go in and look for a group. If your ideal client is stay-home moms, well, then you join a group with stay-home moms. If your ideal client would be maybe people who are in the beauty industry, then you go and you sign up and join a group where people who are in the business industry. Maybe your ideal client may be women who are into health or fitness. Maybe you're a life coach. Then you go and you join groups where your ideal client might be. So 3 good ways to choose how to join a group are: go to your Facebook or LinkedIn business page and do a search. Look for like-minded groups. And thirdly, look for groups where your ideal client might be. So once you decide to join a group, what do you do in the groups? Okay. So I always say share helpful and insightful content in the group. And this is what I do in groups. And this has really helped me to become a part of the community. I share tips in groups. I may go into one of my groups and share some tips, 3 ways to do something. I may give some type of motivational, insightful content, or I may go in and answer questions. Because I'm so active in groups, people ask me questions about social media, about entrepreneurship. And so I go in and answer questions. You want to be a part of the communication. You don't want to go in a group and just promote your business, promote your service, because you really are promoting your services and businesses when you're giving helpful information, when you're giving tips, when you're answering questions. You really are promoting your business. You're not just doing a hard sell. And then go into a group and like other people's stuff, comment on their posts. So, be active in the group in a way that people will see you showing up. Maybe it's once or twice a week. And then they'll get curious and think, wow, who is this that's giving such great insight? And then maybe go visit your social sites or go visit your website. So this is what you want to do when you're networking, because this is networking online. So note to self, this is to give yourself a note. Join a few groups and contribute once a week. Okay. That's, if you're taking notes, that is a note to self. Join a few groups and contribute once a week. And 2 is enough, because you want to be active, and once a week is good. So key number 2, networking with multimedia. And people are like, oh no, I don't want to do video. Oh no, I hear that every day. I don't want to show my face, Marcia. Well, it is a huge key when you decide to use multimedia. You can host a Zoom meetup, and it's so informal. I really like the Zoom meetups. I mean, you can let your subscribers know that you are going to have a Zoom meeting, a Zoom meetup, maybe on a Saturday at 12, from 12 to 12:30, because you can do a free Zoom up to 40 minutes, I think, and then have your people meet with you, and you can answer questions about your industry, or just have a little Zoom meetup. It's really informal, and it really works well for networking via multimedia. Do a Facebook Live, and people are like, oh no, but I will tell you, you go to your Facebook page, you hit the button live, and just do a Facebook Live. But it's all about planning. You can plan to have, I like the Q&As. People like them. People want to learn. People want, information. And I'm actually going to do a Facebook Live this week where I'm going to be doing a Q&A. It doesn't even need to be long. It could be 20 minutes, or sometimes I did a Facebook video a few weeks ago when I just posted about a day in the life of a busy entrepreneur. Got a lot of viewers, and I'm hoping that they were able to connect with what I was saying. Being busy, being an entrepreneur, having a lot to do, but you can still build your business. So my your live or your videos can always be something positive or motivational. People really like it. Now you can host a webinar or something like this, and you might say, well, is that difficult? Well, it isn't. You can get a webinar, company that allows you to do webinars. They have, go-to webinars. They have a lot of them. You can just Google, sign up. You probably have a monthly payment, and give your own webinars. So these are ways that you are actually networking, because remember, when you are connecting and planting those seeds, you're actually networking. You can send an email to your subscribers, and so email is digital, and so you're still in this multimedia, and you can network through what you say in the email. You can start a podcast or even be a guest on a podcast. So there's so many ways to use multimedia items to network. And you may say, well, I'm interested in that. Well, how do I learn more about a podcast? Or how do I learn more about hosting a webinar? Or how do I learn about a Facebook Live or a Zoom? Well, the good thing is in this age that we live in, you can Google and learn. You can watch YouTube videos and learn. You can watch YouTube videos and learn all about starting a podcast or hosting a webinar. Everything is on YouTube. And I love YouTube because it is such a great platform for learning. So if you're like, okay, Marcia, how do I get into that? My answer is YouTube. So what do you do with multimedia? And like I say, sometimes and I get it, we're like afraid to death of being on video or multimedia. But I will tell you this, I was too, and I was like, oh my goodness. And when I first started making videos, I was like, okay, I need to do what I'm preaching. Okay. I need to do it. And so when I first started making videos, and I would make a video and I would look at it before I post, and I was like, oh no, I look awful. And then I would delete the video. And then I would make another video and I'm like, oh no, my hair looks crazy. And I just went through this whole crazy thing with video. And one day I actually watched a video from another person who teaches on video, and she said something that really hit home to me. And she goes, do you hate doing videos? Do you hate, seeing yourself on camera? She goes, get over it. And that was some really good advice for me. She's like, get over it. You need to start doing videos if you want to build your business. And so now, 50 or 60 videos later, I am doing videos. So I will say to you, if you're feeling like me nicely, you might want to get over it because it's huge. So you can have a 30-minute Q&A session or a 20-minute Q&A session. Let people know about your services. Let them ask you questions, how to use your products, things like that. You can teach something or give a tutorial. You can teach a how-to lesson or whatever. You can post a 2 to 3 minute information video where you give information from your industry. You can go live and share something behind the scenes. I've done videos where people were asking me, well, how do you set up a video? So I actually did behind the scenes and showed, this is what I do to set up my tripod. This is what I do to put my camera on. This is how I make my video. So there's so many things that you can do, and you can start off small with the 2 to 3 minute information video. But I would say this to you, try your hand at it. I know it can be scary at the beginning, but it gets better with time. So note to self, okay? Here's a note for you to make to yourself. Give multimedia a try, okay? Short video, a live session, or a Q&A, a Zoom meeting, give it a try. You may just decide, okay, I'm going to just do a short one. Pick up your phone, turn your camera on, do a short 2-minute video, giving some information, and post it to your social site. And then pat yourself on the back because you're going to be so happy. So you can start off small. So networking offline beyond the pandemic. So yes, you can network with social media. You can network in groups. You can network, like we said, with the multimedia on Zoom. You can network with your email. So there's so many ways to network online. So let's look at offline. So you can find and attend networking events because they are coming back. Okay. And you can go and attend conferences. You may find a conference that's coming up in September or the fall or 2022 and decide to attend a conference. You can go to meetups. You can definitely go on Google and look for meetups. You can join an organization or a chamber where your ideal audience may be. And I went to a networking event this past week, and it was very nice, and it was full of people, and people, we were going around, people were meeting, and I met, I always have a plan when I go to a networking event, and I'll talk about that a little later. I always have a plan of how many people I want to meet, how many people I want to connect with, how many people I'm going to go back and follow up with. And I always have a plan when I go to a networking event, and how much information can I give. And I was going around giving people, and people were like, well, what are you doing? And as soon as I say social media, I was going around telling people, oh, this is what you do on Instagram. This is what you don't do on Facebook anymore. And people were like, wow, you're just giving so much good information. One guy was like, how much do I owe you for this information? And I was like, nothing, because I was going around planting those seeds because I knew what I was going to do later. So key number 3, how to plan and prepare for a networking event. And this is what I do when I know I'm going to a networking event. So I decide on how many people I want to meet before the event. I may say, okay, I'm going to this event. I want to meet 5 people. Because it's a lot going on, and you want to have conversations. You just don't want to just ask people what they do, get their card and move on. You want to ask them about themselves, because people like to talk about themselves. So then you want to plan where your opening line is going to be, instead of, so what do you do? So you want to be a little bit creative instead of letting that be your opening line. You want to offer information, maybe facts or tips from your industry. And when I was at the networking function, I was just giving, so because people do come up to me and say, well, what do you do? So I was like, okay, let's have a different line. And I was just telling them, that I'm a social media instructor, strategist. I help business owners, entrepreneurs with branding online, with social media tips and things like that. And so then I started talking about, and I really love Instagram. And then I may ask the person, so you're on Instagram? And then we just kind of get into things, and I may give tips. Well, one good thing to stop doing, and just something like that, where you're offering information. Plan to listen more and talk less. And when people come up to me, I just pretty much listen until they ask me something. And I may give some information, but then I'm going to ask them something else about them. I was like, well, how long have you been doing that? And allow them to talk about themselves. So you might have a number in your head for the business cards you want. You may say, okay, when I get home, I want to have 10 business cards, because everybody's giving them out. But you don't want to just seek business, because the business will come. You want to have a good time. And a lot of the functions, they have beverages, they have food, they have, different things going on. You want to have a good time, not just let me go to this event to seek business, because I have found that when I go to an event, I have a plan, I'm helping people, I have a good time. Business comes to me anyway, especially when I do the follow up correctly, which that's something we're going to talk about. So, note to self: have a plan of action before attending a networking event. This has worked well for me. I always have a plan of action. How many people I plan on meeting, how many business cards I want to get, what I'm going to say, what my opening line is going to be. Have a plan of action before attending a networking event. You don't want to just be like the crowd and come up and say, well, what do you do? Okay. So key number 4, how to network without sounding salesy. And now that we are, kind of coming out of the pandemic, people are opening up, people are going places, people are coming out. Some people are still struggling. They're struggling in their business. They're struggling with finances, and they're trying to figure out how to get back on top, how to get going. So they don't want to come to a networking event, and the first thing I do is I try to sell them something. That's kind of a turn off. So but you can sell without sounding salesy. So like I say, decide on how many people you want to meet, plan on your opening line, be the one who offers information, plan to listen more and talk less, have the number of connections you like to make, have a good time. This is how you network without sounding salesy. So think about it. When you go to meet someone, if it's not a networking event, you just talk and have a normal conversation, and you get to know that person. So you're actually getting to know people. When we get to know people and build relationships, that's how we turn those people into customers. So then you plan on different types of opening lines, so instead of what do you do, talking about your business, you may say, oh, well, have you been here living in this city long, wherever you are? Have you been a part of this organization? Let's say you joined alone. And you're actually getting the person person to open up. And then when you are the one who offer information from your industry, you are really starting to get the attention of people then, because you're offering this information at the networking function. I mean, I was given so much information on Instagram because I just really like social media, and I'm really learning a lot about Instagram because Instagram is great for us as business owners now. It has changed so much. I wasn't really even into Instagram too much because I thought it was just for young people, for pictures and dancing, but it is so much more. And I was trying to tell business owners, I was like, if you used to think about Instagram as a place for, just pictures and things, it is so much different for branding your business. And I would just get into that conversation. And then I would listen to people tell me, oh, well, I have my social media, but I'm not working it. I'm inconsistent. And I'm just listening to people talk. And so now, when you make these connections and they leave, sometimes I'll write a note on the back of the card, something about that person. This person went here for the summer, or this person. So you want to make a connection because you listen to them, write something down about that person. This person went to Hawaii for the summer, or this person loves golf, or this person is into the Olympics. Write something down on the back of the card about that person, because I'm going to tell you what to do with that later on. And just, in other words, plan to have a good time. Okay. So connecting with people at events is, like I say, just be yourself. You don't have to be a salesperson. Just be yourself, because you're actually selling. When you are yourself, you're talking about your industry, you're listening to people, you're sharing information, you really are showing them that you are a thought leader without the hard sell. It's not always about business. Sometimes I go to a networking function. I may get 2 or 3 business cards. I may meet two or three people. Sometimes it's just about being out there with other business owners. And I really love talking to other people who do what I say. They give me information. I'm like, wow, that's a great tip. I think I'm going to use that. And you can go to a function and somebody gives you some good information. So going to that function was worth it because you got some good information. So engage in conversations other than business, because I like to tell people there are more aspects to us than just business. There are more aspects to a person than just their business. Showing interest in what others do. So networking, and I want to get this over to you, is not just about sales, meeting people, buy from my business. It's about making connections. It's about being part of community. It's about being a thought leader. And then the sales come, because people rarely buy right off the bat when they meet you at a networking function. And sometimes if you're just selling too hard, well, they don't want to listen to you after the fact, because they just think that, oh, she's just going to try to sell me something. So note to self, don't be a salesman at a networking event, okay? Be a guide. Be someone with information. Be someone who can lead people to where they need to go. I look at myself as a guide, and I tell people, if you can't get something from my website, because I have a lot of free resources there, if you can't get information that you need there, go to YouTube and get information. If you can't get information there, watch webinars like this one. Be a guide, like lead people to where they need to go. Be a resource person, give information. Those are the people that people actually buy from when they do get ready to make a purchase. So key number 5, the fortune is in the follow-up. And you've probably heard that before. The fortune is in the follow-up. Now, this is the part where we don't want to drop the ball. And I will have to tell you, sometimes in my life, I have dropped the ball, and I was like, okay, 2 days later, Marsha, you need to reach out to those cards that you got, the cards where you made a comment and you made a note on the back. And so I normally say, wait 1 to 2 days to reach out to the people on those business cards. And you don't want to reach out and say, oh, be sure and try to buy this for me. There's a way to reach out to them. You can email them. Most people have their email on their business card, or they have their LinkedIn on their, you can or their website. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can DM them or direct message them and say, glad we met at the function. And so what I do is when I go through my cards, and because you don't want to just collect cards. When I go through my cards, look at what they do, look at the notes that I wrote, then I think about, okay, what am I going to say in the email or the LinkedIn DM? I like to do both of those. I like the email, I like to go to LinkedIn and direct message people. What am I going to say? So the first thing I'm going to say is, I'm so glad we met at the networking function. I hope you had a great time. Sometimes I may share an article with them, and I may say, here's an article that you may be interested in, because don't forget, I made a note of what they like. And so I may find an article on Google and share the article. What am I doing? I'm not selling. I really am, but I'm not doing a hard sell, but I'm giving them something of value without just asking them to buy something from me or use my services. So in a few sentences, you can connect with them in some way. Or you might say, I may say, oh, I'm giving webinars this August, free webinars. Be sure and head to my website to register for a networking webinar, an email webinar. Give them something of value when you reach out to them a few days later. Invite them to your website for a freebie. And so if they respond back and they may say, oh, it was nice to meet you, thank you for the article, whatever. Then a few days later, so the follow-up takes a little work, because if you're trying to get someone to become a part of your community or a subscriber, you have to do a little work for it. So a few days later, you may follow up to see if they need anything. I do this quite a bit. And so I may follow up on LinkedIn a few days later and say, how's it going? Are you enjoying this weather? So what did you think about the article? Did you have any other questions for me? I'm a social media strategist. Or what are you doing with your social media? And usually people are like, oh, I set it up, but I'm not consistent. And so then I may go on, because it is about communication. It is about relationships. And it does take a little work to get a sale. It's worth it though. And I may go on and talk about, well, you know how you could actually stay consistent with your social media? Here are just 3 steps. And so now I'm moving along with this conversation. So when someone is interested in the value that I've given, they may come to my website. And then when they come to my website, they are going to see how I give a lot of free value, free guides, free workbooks, free workshops. Training lessons. I do have paid products too. So they may go and click to get that, one of my freebies. They don't know me yet. They got to give me a test first. And then I get their email. When they get a free course from me or a free guide from me, or they download a free workbook from me, I get their email. Now I can nurture them in the email. I can send them to my YouTube, send them to my podcast. And once they've gotten a feel for, okay, she gives good information. Okay, she breaks it down. And then once I offer a paid product, I may say I have a course, a branding course, and the course is $97, then they're more inclined to purchase. That's how it works, versus going to a function, getting a card, saying, check my website out, check my services, and selling. So that's how it has worked for me. And it really does work well. And what if you get 5 new emails just from this type of follow-up? Or you meet 5 new people on LinkedIn. What if you get, and then eventually after, 1 or 2 types of communication, you lead them to somewhere else. Now they know you a little. They're more inclined to go and look. You might lead them to your website, or you may lead them to a product you have, or you may ask them to follow you because you're trying to build followers on Instagram or Facebook, or you lead them. Maybe you have a blog and you lead them somewhere. So now you are building this type of relationship. And this is what causes people to, you've heard this, to follow the like, know, and trust factor. When people like you, they get to know you, they trust you, Then when they need your product or your services, they will buy from you. So take a screenshot because this actually works. The fortune really is in the follow-up. Now, if you go to a networking function and you do what I say, okay, I'm going to do like Marcia said, I'm going to figure out how many people I want. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to say. And then you get your business cards or whatever. And then you go home and forget about it. Or you go home and you don't follow up. Then you lose out. The fortune really is in the follow-up. Okay, so note to self. When you go to the networking function, I'm sure you're going to be excited. I'm excited. Most of the time, I may plan to go to a networking function once a month because I'm really busy and I need to follow up. So I may go to one a month, sometimes two. As far as online, I network quite a bit through DM, through email, through Instagram. I network quite a bit online because I can do that from home. But when I go to a virtual, in-person event, I plan on one or two because it takes a little work. So note to self, follow up 2 days after the event. Now you might say, well, why are you saying 2 days? That's what I find that works for me. And, you know, sometimes the next day after an event, uh, people are just not opening to hearing from me because so many other people have sent them a DM on LinkedIn from the networking event trying to get them to buy something. So that's why I don't do the one day because a lot of people hadn't caught on to that's not how you do networking. Because I've had that to happen to me. People are like, oh, I met you at the networking function, check out our services for this the next day. So that's why I don't do the next day because so many people have bombarded them the next day. I wait 2 days or sometimes three after the event. And then I always offer value before sales. And like I say, I may find an article that because I wrote something down about them. I find an article and I say, hey, you might be interested in this article. I read about this. Or here's something on Facebook, the changes on Facebook, especially if they were like, well, I'm trying to figure out Facebook. Find out what they're trying to figure out. Find out what the problems that they're having. Find out what challenges they're having. And that's what you want to send them something to end those challenges. Offer value. If you have a lead magnet or what we call a freebie, offer them that. You have a free guide or, you've written an ebook or something, send them a few paragraphs from the ebook if you sell it or whatever. But always offer value first before sales. So let's look at the summary before we wrap up if you have any questions. So here's the summary of networking on and offline. Okay. Networking is a hot trend in 2021, especially online. But you can network face to face or online. We're getting ready to head into 2022 soon. People are ready to get back out there. Join 2 to 3 Facebook groups. You don't want to join too many, or you can join LinkedIn group. I have found that Facebook groups work better for me. People are more active, people are on them, people are in there. So I have found that Facebook groups work better for me. I am a part of a few LinkedIn groups, but I don't see as much interaction. Don't just join groups based on your industry. You can join groups where your ideal client is. Now, I'm hoping I'm sure you know who your ideal client is. And you've written down an avatar, maybe it's a woman, maybe it's a man, maybe they're this age, maybe they hang out here, maybe here are their behaviors. So you want to go and join where your ideal client may be. Make sure they are active groups, okay? If you go and look at a Facebook group and nobody's posted since 2018, that's not a group to join. Okay, look to see when they last posted. Participate in the groups at least once a week. I know you're busy, I know you have a lot to do, you're wearing a lot of hats. That's why I say once a week. Put it on your schedule. I'm going to post in my group. Let's say it's a Wednesday. I'm going to post in my group on Wednesday at 11:30. Get your coffee, post in your group. Okay, you can do it from your phone. Post valuable information. Don't just sell. Yes, you're in business. Yes, you want to sell. Yes, you want clients. But the way to do it, and I've talked about it in a webinar, and of course, you can watch any of our on-demand webinar. I talked about the 4-step customer journey, how to get a customer to actually buy. And at the beginning of that step is awareness. People have to become aware of you. And then in the second step, they have to be interested in what you're doing. And in the third step, they have to make some decisions whether they want to move further to learn more about you. And then the fourth step is where they take action. So you got to take them through this journey. You can't just start at the first step. So you can even create your own group. Some people create Facebook groups. I create a Facebook group. You can build a network of like-minded people. So you can go to your Facebook business page. You may be thinking, wow, I'd like to start a Facebook group. And you can go to your Facebook business page and go to the drop down menu where it says create. You can actually create a group and start inviting people into your own group. It's a great way to build a community. And I put together a guide on how to create or how to get started with a Facebook group. So if you're interested in that, put it in the chat. Introduce people to you and your services in the group. You can do all of that. You can answer questions and be that person who is significant in the group. That's the person that people will buy from, not the person who's the salesperson. Okay. Be the significant person in the group. You might not just, you might not just post tips or things. You might post a motivational saying one day. People love those. People want to be inspired. So this is a summary of networking on and offline. And I hope as you guys get ready to add this to your marketing mix, I will tell you this. It is a great way to build your business. Social media is great. Email marketing is great. Video is great, but it's nothing like building community, building relationships on an ongoing basis through networking. So networking is the number one unwritten rule of success in business. So thank you guys for coming today, and thank you for staying to the end. Feel free, you can connect with me in any of these places you see right here. You can take a screenshot. But if you guys have any questions, we will take some question and answer now.
Thank you, Marcia. That was some really good information. All of our networking events are starting to pick back up, so it's really good to have a kind of a toolkit in your back pocket. Please put your questions and or comments in chat. We'll be happy to address them. One thing you said that kind of resonated with me is follow up in 1 or 2 days. I recently received a call like that afternoon after an event, and I was so irritated. It's like, please, I am busy. I was at the event, you know? And so that's a good rule of thumb to just, okay, give them a breather, talk to them tomorrow or the day after. So that's very helpful. I think your volume got better after you kind of changed it around. So if anybody has any questions, want to comment, always get some valuable information from you, Marcia. Social media, we tell everybody it is one of the most powerful tools. So now we've got something to help us whenever we're networking, whether it be live or within social media.
Right. And with people coming back, getting back out there, we do want to add networking because we've been in so long, we've been stuck inside. Networking just because there's so many businesses trying to get out there and trying to build their business and trying to get sales. You'll be amazed at how you will meet some people who need your services. You will meet some people who want your services and who will be helped from your services, but it's a way to actually get those people through that funnel to actually contact you to find out about your services. So networking online and offline is something that we should really look into right now at the onset of everybody kind of getting ready to get back out there for fall, after the school month of August.
Oh, you said wonderful words. Get back out there in the fall. That's fantastic. I'm a happy girl. Fall is just around the corner. Um, okay, I don't believe we have any questions. So let me go ahead and talk about what we have coming up. Um, we have some upcoming webinars, and they're getting really, really good feedback from everyone. We're going to start some more financial webinars. Starting next week, we'll have a monthly kind of update on any of the SBA programs done by our Rebecca Schultz. A new presenter, Ashley Cook, talk about what is copy and why you need it to grow. Marsha will be back, how to manage your social media strategy. Then we come in on the 17th that afternoon with Rebecca Schultz, starting a 3-part series, Money Smart Startup Businesses. So she's going to talk about how to set up your business financially to get ready for possible funding later on. We bring Eric Spellman back for our cybersecurity 10 mistakes hackers want you to make. Okay. And please visit our SBDC website down there, www.sbdc.nctc.edu, and you can register for those webinars. You can get our contact information. You can schedule an appointment. You can find all sorts of resources. We have one on there called Size Up, and you can actually get all kinds of industry information on your own just from utilizing that software, and it's just an amazing and powerful tool. You can get demographics, industry financials, find your competitors, all kinds of data you can find there. We want to thank our benefactors, the Small Business Administration, the state of Texas, the North Texas SBDC Regional Office, and North Central Texas College. With their funding, we are able to provide webinars like this, all of our resources, everything to you at no cost. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're going to give you back some time, so hey, go have watermelon. Who knows? So, we will see you next week at SBA program updates. Thank you all for joining, and we're going to end the webinar now. Thanks so much.
Thank you.